Well, g'day there. My name is Paul Matthews. I'm an educator from Tasmania, Australia, and I'm really excited to be with you today at the Global Empathy Conference. Artificial intelligence is something I'm really passionate about. I love it. There are many people who don't share my feelings. However, people have often described AI as the end of education, the death of learning. There's some pessimism and some fear out there. I actually find that I'm bringing the opposite perspective. I'm an AI optimist. And that's because I actually think it'll help us meet many of the needs that are so keenly felt within education. Our teachers are tired. You're in education, you understand that. Teachers are tired and students are struggling. The learners in our classroom are more diverse. The learning gap is bigger than it's ever been. We'll talk about that soon. But artificial intelligence will give us the tools we need, I firmly believe, to help tired teachers and struggling students. I'm really excited about that. And that's that passion and that excitement that drive me professionally. So at the start of this year, I stepped out of the high school history classroom and I started an artificial intelligence in education consultancy and also a tech startup called My Teacher Aid that allows educators to use simple, easy tools, the very best AI out there, to create great resources for their learners. So I'm really passionate about AI on a personal, on a professional level, and I think it's going to be good for our teachers, good for our students. And today we're going to talk about probably an underappreciated aspect of AI, which is how it allows us to action our empathy, actually put teeth on our empathy, give legs to our empathy. So I'm really excited to walk through that with you. Empathy is a double-edged sword. It's great, being able to understand and feel the feelings of others, to share those feelings with them. It's a quality that all good educators have. So I'm very aware of the difference empathy can make, because as a student myself, I remember a teacher who came up to me. Now, I was chronically disorganized. My grade 8 homeroom teacher said to me, "Paul, I see you're really disorganized. I used to be disorganized too. I feel your frustration. I know you want to do better." And he gave me a binder. And he said, "Hey, mate, put all your stuff in the binder. All your books, all your pens, pencils, all your homework. Put it all in there, then you just have to worry about taking that one binder to class." It was the empathy that drove that action from my teacher. And I tell you what, boy, did it make a big difference for me. I see that within myself and my colleagues as well. It's our ability to understand and share the feelings of our students. It's our empathy that drives us towards best practice, towards making sure students feel heard, seen, understood. The old saying, and it's a bit of a truism, but you know what they say, truisms are often true, aren't they? They don't care. The students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And we've all felt that in our classroom. Once we've built the rapport, once we've been able to come to a sense of relationship with our classes, then we're actually able to really get some good learning done. However, in the absence of that, we're really pushing uphill, aren't we? So empathy is vital to our role as educators. However, what do I mean when I say it's a double-edged sword? Well, it can be quite dangerous for us because empathy can drive our discontentment. It can drive our discontentment. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, we're very keenly aware as teachers of the feelings. We share the feelings of the students in our class. But what does that mean if we actually can't do anything about it? If we can't be like my grade 8 homeroom teacher and offer a solution? The needs in our classroom are greater than ever. The learning gap, the gap between the sharpest thinkers and the students who need the most help in our classrooms, bigger than it's ever been. There's greater need. We feel that need, but often as teachers, we simply don't have the time, energy, or resources to meet those needs. And that can put us in a situation of profound frustration. Can't it? I'm sure you felt that. I feel it too. However, with artificial intelligence, we can actually action our empathy. Our empathy, that desire to meet the needs of the very diverse learners in our classroom, well, we can action that with our AI. I'm going to give you in this talk some practical strategies to be able to do that. So let's have a think about this. The two benefits of AI in education. All right? Firstly, it will allow us to meet academic needs. It'll allow us to put students in a more targeted, feedback-rich, personalised environment than we ever could have hoped to put them in before AI. Right? It will allow us to create custom, tailored resources for our students, and it will allow us to do it in a fraction of the time that was once possible. I'll give you an example of that in just a minute. But also, as educators, the underappreciated benefit is also artificial intelligence will free up our time by helping us crunch through those often low-level administrative tasks. Well, it'll free us up to have time and space. Time and space to think, to ponder, to wonder, to contemplate. Time and space just to be still and then to let our professional instincts and intuition sort of bubble to the surface. It'll give us time and space from the busy work that teaching is so full of in this day and age. And that will mean that when we're walking into our classroom, well, we're actually intellectually and emotionally rested. Right? We can be present. We haven't stayed up all night the night before trying to do little bits and bobs that are necessary for our teaching profession. We've actually been able to do those low-level administrative tasks quickly and easily so that we're well rested, so that when we enter into our classroom, we actually have the professional discretion and awareness to be able to spot the struggling student, to engage with them in a way that they feel seen, heard, and understood. So AI will help us meet the needs, the academic needs of our students, and it will help us give us back time and space so that we're well rested and emotionally available for our students to exercise that empathy. So let's have a bit of a look at a use case here. And this is a case that I get so excited about. And it's text differentiation. Right? A really simple one. Text differentiation, if you're not familiar with that term, you'll be familiar with the concept, but it's simply adjusting the reading level of texts. Now, it's often been said, there's no such thing as an average student, right? I'm a Year 9 history teacher. There's no such thing as an average Year 9 student. Yet when I pull the textbook off the shelf, or I load up one of the readings online, who are the readings created for? The average student. The average student who doesn't exist, or who I don't have one of those sitting in my classroom. What does that mean? It means that we've got a reading that's designed for the average student. I've got 0 average students in my classroom. So I'm often doing what I would call the spray and pray. What's that? Where I'm just flicking at the resource to the students in my classroom, I'm spraying it out, and I'm praying that they can read it. Well, actually, we can do far better in the age of AI. In the age of AI, you could take a grade 9 level reading and you could translate it down, adjust it down to a grade 7 level reading. Then you could adjust it down further to a grade 5 level reading. And then you could adjust it down further to 5 or 6 dot points. Now, that's not the most exciting use case. I've seen some people out there and they're programming ChatGPT to act like Socrates, and they're getting their students to interface with AI Socrates. All right, that's a pretty flashy, exciting use case. Text differentiation, not that flashy, not that exciting, huge impact. Huge impact for our students. It means all students can actually read what we're giving them. How much of the poor behaviour in our classrooms, or the behaviour that derails the learning at times, is actually because students simply can't access the readings that we're giving them? I'd wager and say it's quite a bit. I certainly found in my professional practice, the students who are far more likely to roll up the handout into a paper aeroplane and throw it around the room, once they cottoned onto the fact they could actually read it, they didn't do that anymore. They were more than happy to learn, to read, to discuss along with the rest of us. They just didn't feel like they had that kind of access before. Text differentiation, if that was the only thing that artificial intelligence did, it would still be revolutionary in our space, still be absolutely revolutionary. I'm really, really excited about that. Again, that's drawing all learners into the learning of our classroom. We'll often read something and then have a discussion about it. And previously, if the teacher hadn't adjusted the text for the learners, and look, teachers often didn't, I often didn't, because spending half an hour adjusting the reading level of a 10-minute text, actually probably a low value proposition in some ways. As teachers, we've got 30 different things we could do with 30 minutes, and spending 30 minutes adjusting a text that's going to take 10 minutes to read, often we go, no, the value is not there. But now we can do those adjustments in 30 seconds. And that means everyone's drawn in. And that means no one's excluded from the learning in our classroom. That allows us as teachers then to actually meet the academic needs. That's often where our empathy is so frustrated. Well, we feel the needs of our learners who are struggling to learn, but we don't have the time, energy, or resources to really make the difference, to make something tailored for the 4 or 5 students in our class who need it every lesson. But with AI, you do. And text differentiation is just a really excellent example of that. And I encourage you to have a play around with that. Now, what I've got for you today, it's a gift from me to you. I've got a simple resource. It's called AI for Better Basics, right? I've got in there 3 basic principles that teachers can use to understand AI and 3 basic practices. So we'll look in there. There's the philosophy of and ChatGPT prompts to differentiate text, to do retrieval practice with students. It's a pedagogical strategy that is evidence-backed and helps students learn, and also to create rubrics, which again, there's a mountain of evidence there. That's the sort of thing where if we are able to use AI, not to do crazy, far-out new pedagogical strategies, but to do better basics, we'll be able to meet the needs of our learners. And as teachers who feel empathically so strongly for our students, well, that's exactly what we want to do. So this resource, it's a gift. It's free. It's from me to you, for everyone at the Global Empathy Conference. And I'm convinced that the basic principles and practices of AI are going to do those 2 things we talked about. They're going to meet the academic needs of your students. And that's something as teachers that we really want. We want to see everyone engaged in learning. We know the power of education. It's going to help us meet the needs of our students. But secondly, it's going to allow you as an educator to do those things actually really quickly and easily, so you can be well rested, so your tank can be full, so that when you enter the classroom, you're the best version of yourself and you're able to meet your learners in the full strength of your professional capabilities. So that's all from me. I've had an absolute treat thinking about this topic. I hope it has been a rich time for you to think about how artificial intelligence can help us action our empathy. Please do not hesitate to get in touch. I'd love to continue this conversation with you further down the track. My name is Paul Matthews, and it's been absolutely fantastic speaking with you today. Thank you so much.